What if I told you that the Philippines, often overlooked in discussions of Latin culture, has rich, deep-rooted connections to the Latino experience? Join us on this fascinating journey as we unveil the lesser-known ties between these vibrant cultures. From shared history to culinary delights and linguistic similarities, prepare to have your assumptions overturned and your excitement ignited. Discover the stories that bridge the Pacific and strengthen the bonds of kinship that span centuries.
Often overlooked in discussions of Latin culture, has deep-rooted connections to the Latino experience. Today, we will uncover the intriguing question, how Filipino are the Latinos of Asia? Prepare to be surprised by the cultural intersections that define us. That is a fascinating perspective to consider. The connections between the Philippines and Latin culture are indeed rich and often overlooked. The historical ties between the Philippines and Latin America are significant, particularly through the Spanish colonial legacy that has influenced both regions. It is intriguing to explore how these connections have shaped the cultural identities of Filipinos and Latinos in Asia. I'm excited to delve into this topic and uncover the unique intersections that define both cultures. Let's explore the question of how Filipino are the Latinos of Asia and discover the shared heritage and diverse cultural influences that connect these two regions. The Latinos of Asia, specifically the Filipinos, have a uniquely hybrid cultural identity that is deeply influenced by both Asian and Latino, Spanish, roots. Despite being geographically in Asia, the Philippines shares a significant historical and cultural connection with the Latino experience due to over 300 years of Spanish colonization. This colonial period introduced Spanish language elements, Catholicism, Hispanic customs, and even culinary influences, which combined with indigenous Filipino and other Asian traditions to create a distinct Hispanic-Asian cultural blend. Filipinos are not considered Latino in the same way Latin Americans are, primarily because Spanish is not the dominant language and their overall cultural evolution has integrated many other Asian influences. Nonetheless, the Filipino identity has a strong Hispanic superstratum visible in religion, language, such as Spanish loanwords, naming conventions, architecture, festivals, and cuisine. This mix highlights how Filipino culture contributes to and intersects with the broader Latino experience, particularly that of Latin America, but remains distinctly Asian as well. What if I told you the Philippines links tight to Latin culture? People skip it in talks about Latinos. But hold on. We're digging in today. How Filipino are Asia's Latinos? Get ready for shocks. Spain ruled the Philippines for over 300 years. From 1565 to 1898. Same as Mexico or Peru. Galleon trade ships moved silver, spices. People, too. Families mixed. Blood ties formed. Catholics ruled both spots. 80% in Philippines. Same in most Latin lands. Saints like Sto.Nino match Nino Dios. Fiestas explode with parades. Candles, prayers. Feels just like Semana Santa. Taste it. Adobo? Vinegar pork like Mexican carnitas. Lumpia rolls twist like empanadas. Halo Halo mixes fruits, ice. Close to raspados. Spanish cooks left recipes. We tweaked them our way. Words jumped over. Tagalog grabs mesat for table. Gracias turns to salamat. Abogado means lawyer here, too. Street talk mixes Spanish slang. Chat with a tita. Hear the echo. Big families. Tios, primos everywhere. Respect Lola, Lolo. Same as abuelita love. Guitars strum boleros. Fiesta nights pulse alike. Today? Stars shine cross oceans. Filipino actors in telenovelas. Jollibee burgers hit LA K-dramas? Nah, we crave Narcos vibes. Social media bonds us. When one thinks of Latin culture, images of vibrant festivals, passionate dances, and rich histories often come to mind. However, what if I told you that the Philippines, a nation frequently overlooked in discussions of Latin culture, has deep-rooted connections to the Latino experience? This intriguing question invites us to explore the captivating intersections of Filipino and Latino identities. Prepare to be surprised as we peel back the layers of history, culture. The roots of the Filipino-Latino connection stretch back to the Spanish colonization of the Philippines, which lasted over 3 centuries from 1565 to 1898. During this period, Spanish rule introduced a variety of cultural elements that would become integral to Filipino identity. From language to religion and culinary practices, the influence was profound. Spanish is one of the official languages in the Philippines, and many Filipinos speak it or have Spanish surnames, over 20% of the population. The intermingling of cultures is evident in Filipino traditions such as the celebration of Christmas, which is strikingly similar to those in Latin American countries. These cultural exchanges, born out of colonization, have cultivated a unique Filipino identity enriched by its Latino heritage. Celebrations and traditions, a shared passion. One cannot discuss culture without mentioning the extraordinary celebrations that characterize both Filipino and Latino communities. Festivals like Sinulog or Pahias in the Philippines echo the vivaciousness of Latin American carnivals. Vibrant costumes, music, and dance create a festive atmosphere that resonates with the rhythms of Latino celebrations. Moreover, elements of Catholicism, brought over by the Spanish, permeate both cultures. The significance of fiestas, feasts in the Philippines mirrors that of Latin American cultures, where community gatherings revolve around religious celebrations. Whether it's a colorful procession honoring a patron saint or an extravagant family gathering, the underlying themes of faith, community, and joy bind these cultures together. Language serves as a powerful tool for connecting cultures, and in the case of the Philippines and Latin America, Spanish plays a pivotal role. While the Philippines boasts over 175 languages, many Filipinos are fluent in Tagalog and its regional dialects, with a significant influence from Spanish.
Philippines? Asia's Latinos, no doubt. Shared roots run deep. Surprised? Drop a comment. What's your fave link? Hit like. Sub for more. See you next time. In this sense, to ask how Filipino are the Latinos of Asia acknowledges that Filipino Latinos are culturally Filipino first with deep Latino, Hispanic, heritage weaving through their identity. They reflect a fusion rather than a direct equivalence to Latin American Latinos. This cultural intersection defines a unique shared space where Asian and Latino influences coexist, marking Filipinos as part of the wider Hispanic world but not wholly Latino in the American or Latin American sense. Thus, Filipinos are Latino in historical, religious, linguistic, and cultural dimensions, yet they remain culturally Asian. The connection between Filipino and Latino cultures reveals surprising intersections shaped by centuries of shared history and ongoing cultural exchange. Discover how Spanish colonization, mixed heritages, and timeless traditions have shaped the unique Filipino identity. From joyful fiestas to soulful music, we're shedding light on similarities you might never have noticed. Join our journey into the enriched fibers of culture, and let's explore why the Philippines deserves a place in the heart of Latino discourse. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more cultural insights.